The world that they offer you is gray and promises dystopian control. They offer you safety and security purchased with the currency of your freedoms. But on this channel, we say absolutely not. The warmth and freedom of individual liberty will pass on from us to the next generation, and it starts right now. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, our beautiful country, and how we're going to fix this bad boy together. Guys, what we're about to talk about is finally some accountability coming for the asshats who are trying to destroy our nation from within. We're going to walk through a lot of things in this video. There's going to be a lot of fire, there's going to be a lot of F-ice, there's going to be a lot of destruction, but more importantly, there's going to be some DOJ accountability announcements as well, because this is how you deal with the problem. If these people who are expressing themselves through violence across our nation can't be trusted to behave like a normal human being in society, you won't be in it. This is really important, guys, because accountability is what we are all thirsting. Let me hear you in the comments if you agree. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on, because everything that we are doing on this channel is building a movement towards freedom for this and the next generation, and we would love to have you along for the ride. All right, as I mentioned, everything will be linked in the description box below, and everything, of course, is available on my X profile at Braden LOA. But guys, I want to talk to you about training a little bit with what we're dealing with. You're seeing across the nation all sorts of problems that are arising from social unrest. In my opinion, it's because the left didn't get their way and they lost. They're losing the idea of minds of actual battle ideas, and they're moving to battle of physical ability. This is why training is so important. And there's a link in the description box below for USCCA's free training. It automatically goes to your local area and tells you all the available classes. It is certified, it is applicable, and it is something that you guys need to be fully aware of, because in the times that we are in, it is incredibly important not only for you to know all the scenarios that you could be in, but also know the rights and the legal ramifications of such. It is completely free. It's something they put together to help the chaos in what we're dealing with. Link in the description box below, and thank you guys for checking that out. Let's get into this. This is key. All right, people. I'm going to show you a couple of things, and I want to show you these things because it builds into the idea that accountability is completely devoid in our nation right now, or at least it has been until recently. All right. Again, we're 5 months into the Trump administration, and we're already devolving to fire on the streets and burning everything down. So I'm going to hit this just to give you a little idea of what we're dealing with. I'm going to cut the audio because you don't need the audio. We're now getting people in Portland who are throwing flaming boxes of cardboard against federal buildings, defacing the property, breaking it, and in some cases going in and injuring federal officers. We're in a position now where they are just going to decide to tear everything down, because after all, if they can't win on the battlefield of ideas, they're just going to basically devolve into violence. Here's another one where they're doing the exact same thing. They are attempting to break into businesses and federal buildings, and later on in the evening they actually did, and they hurt 4 officers, and they actually penetrated the building. At a certain point, accountability has to come down, and has to come down hard. And that's where I'm getting to in this video, because this is extremely important. As we're going through all of these little tabs, this was all just yesterday. Guys, this is why our heads are on swivels. This is why we are protecting ourselves. This is why we are arming ourselves. This is why we are taking free training when it is applicable, so we know what we're doing and what we're going into. This is what we're facing. Foreign flags, masked people, penetrating federal buildings and assaulting them, and then hurting federal officers. Guys, we're in a different scenario, and it's only month 5. This is something that you need to be fully aware of, okay? Now, let me go to this next one, because you've got the idea. They're burning it down. They can't be trusted to behave like normal human beings in a civilized society. So this is something that a viewer sent me last night. This is why at Braden LOA is so important on X. Because you guys can get me stuff and I can air it and show everybody else. It's force multiplication. So a viewer just sent me this clip, and as a nation, we are thirsty for accountability. The DOJ is now charging violent rioters because leftist DAs won't do it. More of this. Now, you remember through history, because you guys pay attention, you are sharp, you understand that the leftist DAs were the ones that were arresting criminals and then letting them right back out the door. It led to an increase in violence, it led to an increase in murders, and it led an increase to uprisings, because the criminals were not being taken off the streets, mostly in blue cities. Oh, look, I just showed you a bunch of blue cities. But now, this is something that's changing. This is Pam Bondi yesterday. She's starting to charge these rioters, these criminals, these people who are assaulting federal officers federally. If you're not going to get arrested and be charged locally, which puts you back out into the population, which basically allows you to circulate even more chaos and mayhem, you're going to get charged federally. Watch this. This is what I freaking voted for. Watch this right here.
The Molotov cocktail cases that you've seen, we've charged one, more to come, 3 outstanding. The looters, you saw they began to loot last night, going into 7-Elevens, going into drugstores. Typically, you don't charge those. We do under federal law now. Under the Hobbs Act, we are charging robbery. You loot a business in California, you are looking at maximum of 20 years in prison. You spit on a federal law enforcement officer, no more. As President Trump said, you spit, we hit. Get ready. If you spit on a federal law enforcement officer, we are going to charge you with a crime federally. You are looking at up to 5 years maximum in prison.
That says something. Because if you're going to go after this route of, well, we're not going to charge people because they're expressing themselves, as Nancy Pelosi said, the exuberance of the moment. No, bullcrap. You assaulted somebody, you're going to prison. You assaulted somebody in the execution of a riot to destroy a city because you can't be trusted to be a civilized human being because you lost on the battlefield of ideas, so you commit to violence. You're going to jail. 5 years for spitting on a federal officer, 20 years for looting a business. Hey, here's a question. Where's that been, Merrick Garland, Biden administration, for the last 5 years? If these people this whole time could have been arrested and charged at the DOJ level federally, why is Pam Bondi the first one coming out and saying, well, now it's on? These people could have been in jail for 20 years the first time that they did this and burnt down Waukesha, all these different areas in Wisconsin, or different areas in Los Angeles, New York, all these different places. You're telling me the whole time they could have been arrested and charged federally, but the Biden administration and Merrick Garland just simply didn't do it? You guys seeing the problem here? I'm telling you, accountability is coming back, and that's what I'm here for. Let's keep going.
The cinder block case, Sean. Remember that case? We have breaking news right now. The case where the guy was breaking up the cinder blocks and he was throwing them at police cars. The federal officer had injured his hand. He was wearing a mask. The FBI has identified him. Bill Isali, our incredible U.S. attorney out there working with ATF, DEA, and the FBI have been doing a remarkable job. That guy has just been identified, and they are doing a search warrant on his house as we speak. And he has been identified. See his face. He is going to be on, his name is Reyes. He is going to be on the most wanted list.
He's going to be on the most wanted list. Guys, this is the reason that I'm doing this video. We are going into a different realm now. You wore a mask to a riot and you were assaulting police officers and federal officers. Well, now the FBI actually identified who you were and they put you on the most wanted list. You spit on a federal officer, which is the status quo operation for Antifa and all these other leftist ilk. Well, you're going to prison for 5 years federally. That's pound me in my Antifa umbrella prison, okay? Then you've got someone who is breaking up cinder blocks and basically allowing them to come forward and destroy. Yeah, you've been identified. You're on the most wanted list. This is accountability. Again, this has only been 5 months. The more that you do this, the more there are actual consequences for these people's actions, the more they can actually be in a position where maybe they won't do it again. Let's keep going, though.
You have broken the news. His face is out there right now. That's him. He has been identified by great police work by the FBI. So you can run. You can't hide. We are coming after you federally.
And you get the idea here. The whole point and the reason that we're building this movement that we're building together on my X profile at Braden LOA is because accountability is coming back. That's the important piece. It's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be an adjustment period. But everything that you just saw was not executed underneath the Biden administration and Merrick Garland, the DOJ, the Attorney General. Nothing. They sure went after us as gun owners with the ATF and all these executive bureaucratic rules and all this BS that we've now beaten back most of it. But they didn't do a word about this. There were plenty of riots and uprisings in the Biden administration. Nothing. Now, you loot, you spit, you hurt, you're going to federal prison. more of this. Spread this message out, and I will see you guys on the next one. I'm Braden. Later.